Hi, everyone. I'm Claire Taylor. I'm the Chief Programming Officer at SeriesFest, and welcome to our final Canva Vanguard workshop of 2025. I just want to start off with, we're going to be just giving Canva all sorts of shout outs and loves today from the SeriesFest side, because we have had such an incredible year of partnership with them. And thank you to Kate, and thank you to Rebby and Roger and Ellie, lots of folks that you're going to get to hear from today. And today's session is Beyond the Pitch, Inside the Art and Strategy of the Modern Series Bible. So a little bit different than what we've done in previous workshops, talking about the pitch. We're going to move into a modern series Bible. So please activate in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from, zooming. I don't know what the right verb is for that. As well as put your questions for Alexa, for myself, for Rebby, for Roger into the Q&A box, and we'll get as many of those questions answered as possible. So welcome, everyone. Let's get started. I kind of ran over the agenda, but just to kind of put it in bullet points for everyone, we are going to have a fireside chat with Alexa Junge. But before we get to that, we'll have a little bit of intros about Canva and SeriesFest. And then after our chat with Alexa, we're going to move into some Canva demos. Wow, I combined that with our wonderful ZVE, Roger Coles, who, if you've been following this series, has been a wonderful addition to our Canva family and explaining how to use all of these incredible tools and visual aids as we make things for our projects. And then we're going to have some time for a Q&A and a little survey at the end, because we want to make this the most of this for all of you. And we will get started. I see that the chat is disabled. I just saw that. No, we'll work on fixing that. All right, so you already met me, and you are now going to meet the incredible Kate Marsden, head of global brand partnerships and design school at Canva. Hi, Kate. Good
Hey
morning.
Claire, hey everyone. Good morning from Sydney. So great to join you all. Very excited for this.
Awesome. And then you're going to hear from Alexa Young, writer and showrunner, friends, Grace and Frankie. We'll get into that. And then I keep bragging on Roger because he's so easy to brag on. But first, I'm going to brag on Kate and hand it to you to talk to us a little bit about Canva this fine day.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome everyone. Thank you for such a warm welcome. We've loved doing these webinars and really getting to know the SeriesFest community and seeing how you're using Canva. And it seems like Canva is really not a new tool to so many of you in the industry anymore. And look, the reason we show up in entertainment is just a way that we can forward and continue to work towards Canva's mission, which has been the same since day one. And we're on a mission to empower the world to design. We know how critical it is, particularly in this industry, to empower you all to be able to express those ideas, those concepts that are in your mind in a really impactful way. And Canva is a way that you can do that. There's now 260 million of you coming onto our platform every single month and expressing your ideas and creativity, which we love to see. But so many people just know Canva for maybe one use case, whether it's a series Bible that we're going to hear more about today or a whiteboard. But there's so many different facets of Canva, and it's all under one hood. So whether you're wanting to create production budgets, we've now got sheets, beautiful visually docs, whiteboards, which you'll see today, presentations for your pitch decks, promoting your series across all of our amazing social templates, photos, creating videos. Our video product just got really plussed up, creating print and designing it and getting it shipped straight to your house or business and website. So you can all do this all under the one place in Canva. But don't know how many of you tuned in, but 2 weeks ago we had our biggest product drop yet. So it was really exciting. Yeah, it's surpassed all records. So thank you for everyone for your support, and it's been an overwhelming response to some of the things that we launched. So designing emails now, way more supercharged AI pieces. And there's a whole bunch of additional features in our video tool, which is only going to get stronger and stronger as well. So keep designing, keep giving us feedback. We keep wanting to level up our product for you, and we appreciate all of that. We've got Ellie from here from Canva too in the chat, so she'll be helping to answer all your questions. There she is. Hey Ellie, and yeah, please drop your questions in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them. And without further ado, I will hand you back to Claire for this exciting fireside chat with Alexa. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Ellie. And it does look like we've got the chat going, so keep getting to know each other in the chat, ask questions in the Q&A for Canva and myself, and drum roll, please. Join me in welcoming the incredible writer and showrunner, Alexa Junge.
Hello, hello. Good to be here.
We're so
Hi.
excited to have you join us. You have also been an incredible member of our SeriesFest community since I think the first time we met was in what, 2016? Is that possible?
1865. Yeah.
1865. Yes, that sounds about right. And I mean, I was refreshing myself on your incredible career and was like writing down all of the names of all these titles of my favorite shows, from Friends and Grace and Frankie, but also Clarissa Explains It All, United States of Tara, Big Love, West Wing. I mean, you have really this really impactful career, and you've kind of gotten to work in so many different facets of television. So we're so honored to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm really excited to see all the things that Canva can do.
Yes, yes. Well, we kind of broke this conversation into three parts. So let's start with the first part, which I believe is on the next slide. Oh, well, there you
Oh,
are. Oh, that's okay.
oh,
Perfect. This part one, beat one, you've sold your show. Now what? So we've talked a lot about pitching on these workshops. And we at SeriesFest offer a number of opportunities for independent creators to submit to the festival. But one thing we ask is for a series format deck, which is essentially a pitch document. But what is the evolution of that from the pitch document into what is actually a Bible?
yeah. So what you hope is that when you sell your show, whatever network you sell it to, asks you to make a Bible for the show, which these days means it depends. Sometimes it can mean you actually have to break the whole season and do outlines for each episode. And sometimes it's more informal. It's a sense of the tone, the world, but more extensive than what you would have done for your initial pitch. So you're kind of building it out so that you can help them see that it's viable and that they should spend a lot of money on it.
And
That's
is
the main goal.
it's them is the executives, right? These are the networks in the studio.
Yeah, because you will have been working on your pitch. You probably will have producers that are interested in joining you once you have the idea. Usually what happens is it can happen different ways. In this case, the network had the rights to a story from the New York Times Magazine about open marriage, and they came to me to ask if I would write about it. And I was interested, not for myself, but just as a human. I don't know why I felt I had to say that, but no
Okay.
diss to people practicing ethical non-monogamy out there. Anyway, so it was a proof of concept that I had to do, which was quite extensive. And I was given a room of, I think, about 6 writers, and we worked for 3 months to break the season and then to create this document that's usually done almost as an email, and it may have slides, or just a PDF, and that you sort of send off. But I wanted to make something that you could hold in your hands. And part of what happened was the regime changed at Stars, which is where I was doing this. the guy that brought me in was leaving the company, and there was a new gentleman coming in who was coming from business and not just a kind of different guy, really smart, terrific executive, but he's more of a bro, to be honest, than the other guy. And so I wanted him to be able to feel it and see it and see how sexy the show was. So it was particularly visual. So it would be fun and easy for him to look at. And I had to pitch it too. So I pitched it, we saw the slides, and then I handed him this coffee table book to take home with him.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing. What did you add, like specifically in a series Bible, like that you found like really crucial in getting that tone across? Like, were there elements that you were like, this has to be in there? Um,
That's a great question. So when I sold it, I talked about how this is a issue that people are talking about, and that you'd be surprised the numbers of people that are doing this, and to kind of again make it seem less, because I knew I was up against the problem that this might not be something middle America. It was more sort of prestige TV, which we don't do so much anymore. But I felt a need to really talk about the fact that this wasn't just going to be a show about open marriage, but about monogamy as well. And so I wanted the stuff that's in the right corner, left corner, up where it says monogamous is now. I really wanted to make sure to make my case, in a way that wasn't just verbal. And then the big difference with the Bible is that you usually have to pitch the whole season. The reason they call it, I mean, there are Bibles that directors make, which are a different kind of Bible that are more technical and, have palette and angles and things like that. But I see that as a director's purview, not mine. And I do try to represent, in terms of the images that I pull, a sense of what the visual will be and how it would be shot. I just don't make those headers for myself. But the big difference is that you're entrusted with, or you're sent off to really dig into what is the season arc, what is the story of the season. And then in my case, I had to do outlines, pretty detailed outlines for every episode of the season. So they wanted all of that. And this was, I hadn't gotten a green light, right? So I had gotten, we want you to write 2 episodes. We're going to give you a staff to break the season, and then we want you to do a presentation and turn in a Bible. So yeah, so
yeah.
that was so I'm not sure I answered your question,
No,
but
no, no. That was perfect because I think you explained exactly how it accordions, right? From like maybe a 10 page or maybe even a 1 page to like these are documents that could be, 50 pages if you're depending on how many episodes you have.
and they also, they have to pay you for a Bible, and they have a bunch of different ways they talk about them. I feel like I'm forgetting the name of the thing that doesn't cost them as much, which is more like a 10 to 15 page document. And then for a full Bible, which is what I did, they had to pay me because it involved, so much work. And they paid for the room of writers, which is, I'm not sure what happened now. Honestly, things have changed a little bit, but hopefully that's part of what you are given to really, fulfill the expectations.
Were there visuals from this portion of development that like you really found made a difference in the writer's room, like that were really like, okay, we're putting this on the wall?
I did this privately while the writers were working. I do like to bring in inspiring photos, very much so, because I think it helps to have, I love that pink picture. That just to me has the energy and the just the vibe that I wanted to create. And it's more of a director's shot than anything, but I think I did put that on the wall. And usually if you are, the thing about a Bible is you haven't cast, you often, I'm doing a project right now where there is an actress attached. So all the images are her. And it's period piece, and we had to decide whether or not to try to AI period clothing on her, and we decided it looked too fake, so we didn't. But in this case, I hadn't cast the actors, so I looked for instance, Calvin and Fred are not actors. They are just a picture of two guys. However, Maya and Jason, you will recognize the actors there, but you need to give comps. So that's an interesting thing too, because you want to find actors that you could get. So don't put, I mean, these days you could get Julia Roberts, but you don't put huge movie stars that would never do television. It's a sweet spot. Somebody that, I mean, and other people might disagree and say, yeah, put Daniel Craig in. But I like it to be someone that's exciting, a little bit higher than the sort of TV pool we see all the time. But at the same time, movie stars are doing a lot of TV now. So, but you want to put in comps to help understand what the actors might be, who they might be. And some people put in a lot. They'll put 3 different actors, but I think that's confusing. So I sort of go with 1 or maybe 2 um, in the character section.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. That was actually one of my questions because I feel like when even we get Bible or series format decks, we do see a lot with celebrity pictures in them. And where I find it most helpful is if it's like a character
Mm-hmm.
still instead of like an actual picture of Daniel Craig, unless you have Daniel Craig, right?
No, I totally agree. That is a great way to use actors. And then you are using, for instance, I'm working on this deck where um at the end of a section, I was sort of selling the idea that for this main character who's a woman, she's at a crossroads. And then I was moving into the next part of the pitch. And so I found this really great image of Reese Witherspoon sort of in a crowd. And she's not the actor that I pitched for the main character, but she could be. And it was from another show, but it had the right vibe. So that felt really good to kind of a way to have an actor that could play that part, but not have a headshot or a picture of them in a glam, suit or dress.
Totally, totally. It's that fine line to ride, which actually is perfect into beat 2. You and I are such pros. Like we're just going right into the next. So inside Alexa's creative playground, world building and tone. Or we'll start with the first slide in this section because I think it kind of talks a little bit about the room and photos in the room and setting that tone. But can you tell us what we are seeing right here?
You are looking at very early stages of a play that I wrote. Um, it's so wild to look at it because a lot of the characters have changed and the names have changed. But as I said, I write 3x5 cards, and I have this system where I have in the past really liked the being able to put it up there with my hands, but then you have to carry it with you if you go places. And so you have to take it all off, and I'll put a tape down the middle and then carry that like a, folding thing. And I once had a deadline, and I had to go on a cruise I didn't want to go on, and I brought it with me on the cruise and taped a ton of stuff to the wall. And my mom was just super mad, but that might have been why I did it, if I'm honest.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to go on the cruise, and that's how I, as a grown woman, act. So anyway, yes, this is sort of how I've done it. Um, and I'm
Amazing.
hoping to learn some new ways.
Yes, yes.
So I don't have to carry all those cards and drawings.
Yes,
Photos.
but it is an important part of the process, right? Is like this visual world building. Why do you think that it's so crucial to doing this visually?
Well, I feel like I'm a visual person, and when I am working on any project, and it's particularly because I do comedy, and when I do drama, there's often it's a little kicky. I don't really do, I have worked on a procedural, but I don't really do kind of dogmatic. No diss to drama. I love drama, but the stuff that I tend to do is a little lighter or has a little comedy in it.
Mhm.
So it's particularly if you're working in mixed genre or comedy, the difference between a dramedy and a comedy, I have to figure out the tone. I
Mm,
have to have visual examples of exactly what the tone of what it is going to feel like. And that is really important in terms of helping your executives get a true feel and understanding of the humor, the palette, the world, the energy. So I definitely, I start boards as soon as I begin a project, and collecting images. And so I'll for most things I'll have 6 months of images that I've been pulling before I do anything with them. Um,
incredible. Which I
so
think on the next slide, we're gonna see a snapshot of the Pinterest organization. This is incredible. And how do you, I mean, we're gonna talk about how Canva can support this, but as far as like what we're seeing in Pinterest, like how are you deciding what's making the board?
Oh, well, again, I just pull images and then I organize them.
Yeah.
I just sort of go, sort of go crazy. And then you can see with Texas tornadoes what I'm working on right now. And so I am also trying to get myself organized so that I have different categories here for actors. Actually, if you don't mind scrolling up, there's divisions in Texas. If you click on
Oh,
tech, can you click
I
on
think
Texas tornado?
it might
Or
be
is this a?
it might be a screen record. I don't know that it's an act
Oh, okay.
look
Um,
into, but
It's a screen record, sorry.
Oh
A
no,
beautiful
that's
one at
fine.
that.
Oh, so anyway, I have a lot of categories. So I make sections where I have actor comps, I have tone, I have world, I have weird stuff that no one wants except me. It's broken down into like 30 categories. A lot of
wow.
times I like to use signage. So because this is about Texas, I also am collecting kind of kitschy Texas stuff. So I put that in one file. So that way, when I go to pull images, I already have most of the ones I need, and I always end up needing more. But it just helps me get organized, and it really helps me even write the pitch because I'll say it's a little kitschy, but it's not too arch. So like Betty Davis is too arch for what I'm
Mm,
going to end up doing, but I want her in there to help me, find the balance between that. Like that's my indie film version of it, but
yeah.
I need to make a case that it's going to be a sort of Desperate Housewives fun or Palm Royale or something, even though it's a legal show. So
Yeah.
tone has really been important for me to try to work out. And these are a little crazy. You got some of my super crazy ones here.
I
No
like
one's
it.
gonna, but anyway, yes. Well, thank
They're
you for.
very, very specific. I love it. And I do think there's a question in the Q&A about where do you pull your images from? So in this instance, you're using Pinterest for,
I use other sources as well. And I have subscriptions to different places to pull images, and I just Google on the web too. But I'm gonna guess that there's an image part of what Canva offers. So love to hear about that.
yes, Roger's getting closer. We have one more beat that we're going to kind of chat through here. our part three, evolving your story and game plan. So this is also where you kind of mentioned the evolution of your pitch deck and your series Bible into a coffee table book, which I think we have some photos of.
Yes. So
Um,
this was the coffee table book. And I just like to do like I like to there's so many shows that are pitched, and these days because it's on Zoom, you
mhm.
you know it's really harder to separate yourself, and so I tend to look for ways that what I'm doing is going to really make an impact in people's minds. And I'm the Texas show has an actor attached to it, and I've written dialogue for her,
Hmm.
so she's going to jump in and out of the pitch in her Zoom box. Actually, we might get in because she's pretty. They like to see you in person if you have someone pretty or famous with you. That's that's good. So maybe you can just get a famous or pretty person to come with you and pretend they're in the show. You can always do that. But anyway, so if you're on Zoom, which is the most common, I really do encourage people to find ways to make it different and to I mean, one time I held up signs the way you people do on social media. It's like I'm going to pitch something to you now. I hope you like it. Please do not text while I'm pitching. Can you please unmute your phone so I can hear you laughing?
I
So
love it.
again, just sort of brainstorm and have fun. And again, the tone of the pitch has to be the tone of the show, right? So
Yeah.
you can't, if you're doing a more serious, stylish thing, you don't have to dress in like noir clothing, but you want the vibe to feel a little different. Um,
Yeah. I,
so
I I feel like I hear that feedback a lot of like if your show is funny and you're writing a comedy, make your pitch funny. Like
yeah, oh
write
yeah.
it in. Like use that writing skill to elevate that. And I just want to kind of touch on also like kind of state of the industry without feeling too gloom and doom. But like you mentioned, like doing things to help yourselves like stand out with like so many shows in the ether and so much content getting pitched. Like are there other tips like that you found like kind of, build up that courage to like find those little ways to stand out?
That's a great question. One thing I will say is when you're putting a pitch together and you're putting a deck together, you are not storyboarding your show. So I have strong opinions about this. There are people who do it this way, and they're, fancy and get shows on the air. But I feel like storyboarding is its own art.
Mm.
And that's something a director could do, or I could give maybe if honestly, so what I'm talking about is a pitch where you have a deck and it's like we meet Judy. Then there's a picture of Judy. Judy goes to school, and it's at school where she meets Bob. And you see someone walking with books, and then you see two people meeting. That is not a good way, in my opinion, because it's not adding anything visual to the pitch. It's they're often those images are not that interesting, and I think people get satiated, so it ends up working against you because you are just it's like this like music going along, and you're doing that visually. So I actually think it does not help enhance your pitch. So this is a little different than Bibles, but I think it's a similar thing when you're making a Bible. You're adding to what the pitch is, not repeating it with visuals.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Well, we're going to move into how Canva can help with all of these visuals and things. And welcome our wonderful Canva verified expert, Roger Coles, to the screen.
Hey, Oh my goodness. My wife is so excited that I'm on with one of the writers from Friends. She was obsessed with that show. Alexa, if you had to name this after like the style that you did with a
Oh,
Friends episode, what would you name
Oh, like
this
the one.
workshop?
that is
Yeah.
such a good question. Okay, you have to give me a second because I was going to say the one with the purple and the pink,
Yeah.
but that's not specific enough. And the one with the Canva is not interesting enough. Okay, I'm gonna have to get back to you. I'm gonna workshop that while we're talking.
I was thinking the one with Waldo Kruger because the chat doesn't know this, but when we were rehearsing, I was wearing a sweater and it was a striped sweater. And Alexa said that I was looking very Waldo-esque. But then Claire said, it's kind of Freddy Krueger meets Waldo. So I actually wrote a song called Waldo Kruger and
Oh my
posted it
God.
on my social media.
Well, we're gonna have to go check that out. And Alexa,
Now we
so
have a theme song.
yes, we're gonna do that show, you and I.
Oh my goodness. All right. All right. So let's get into how you can use Canva to support some of this brainstorming, right? And one of the first places to start is in the writer's room, those sticky notes, and you're trying to put everything on a wall. And I love this because Melanie Perkins, the founder of Canva, recently did an interview where she said that their tendency is to start with chaos and move to clarity. And I don't know if anyone else can identify with that, but that's very much part of my creative process. And so here we have a whiteboard that we're going to make messy, right? It looks clean right now. But one of the things I love about a Canva whiteboard is that you have unlimited space. So you can see we have all of this room that we can play with here. And I have this little house right here to just demo how far you can zoom in on something like a Canva whiteboard to give you perspective on how much space is here, right? So if we were to zoom in on this house, it just looks like a normal house, but there's something going on up in this window. Oh, there's like a whole galaxy up here. That's pretty cool. And we keep zooming in. Oh, I think there's somebody in here. Oh, who's this guy? Oh, it's me. And we're at 500% right now. And that's how much space you have to play when you are in a Canva whiteboard. And so I'll show you how you can open up a Canva whiteboard, but you no longer have to worry about running out of space on your wall or, in Alexa's case, your fireplace that you have sticky notes all over, right? And so that's the beauty of a Canva whiteboard. And so if you go to canva.com/entertainment, there's a ton of resources and templates here for you that you can find that will support you in this creative process. So we're going to scroll down and there's lots of templates here, but what we're going to focus on is the TV and film whiteboards over here. And you'll see that we have lots of different categories. We could jump into a plot and story brainstorm, writer's room, film brainstorm, beat sheet, film production timeline, lots of really good templates here. And so we're going to open up one of these right here. Let's just say we'll use this one right here. And this right here will give you a framework, right? So we started with something that was totally empty, but now we've kind of got some structure to start putting in some of our creative brainstorming. And so we have all these cool stickies that we can add in here. And if you just click on the S key, boom, it's going to automatically add in a new sticky right here. And what I love about it is that you can see that the name of whoever added that sticky is going to be right there. So everybody's going to get credit for their ideas. You'll be able to remember whose idea was what. And then the cool thing too is that you can add reactions. So we have all of these cool reactions right here. So when you start collaborating with people and there's multiple people that are jumping in, over here on the Elements tab, if we scroll down to reactions, see we have stickers right here. We have all these cool stickers that we can choose from. Like if maybe you don't like an idea, womp womp, but it's a good way to give feedback visually into what's happening on this page. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and invite Kate to jump in here. So I'm going to hit share and I'm going to go to Kate. And this is how you can add other people to be a part of your brainstorming session. So she should have just gotten a notification and then she'll be able to jump in here and also give any of her feedback that she wants to as we're brainstorming. So while she's in here, maybe she's going to fill out some of these script breakdowns. I'm going to start working on the visual side of things over here on the right-hand side. because another great thing to do in a Canva whiteboard is to start creating a mood board. And you have Canva's entire photo library at your disposal so you can start to pull things in. So let's say in this case, I want this to be, what should we do? Let's do a summer. Like maybe this is going to be happening in the summer. And so I'm going to just search over here for summer holiday. And we'll go to photos right here. And so we can start to just pull these in. I'm just going to click and drag, boom, and it's going to automatically replace it. If you need to crop it, you just double click that image and then you can pull that over here. You can see that Kate's jumped in. She's added her own sticky note here so she can start to leave a little bit of feedback. And so we're getting real collaborative here as we're starting to, oh, there we go. Got stuck on them. All right, so I'm just adding in a few more images here, and I'll show you the shot deck integration in just a little bit because that is a huge game changer. Kate's adding in her own photos down here. And maybe it's like, oh, we're running out of time on this brainstorm. We don't have a ton of time for this. Then we can time this. Say, okay, guys, let's do this for another maybe 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. So down here at the bottom, we have a timer. And so I can click on that and I'll let the chat choose because we can do music here. We have focus, dramatic, upbeat, energetic, lo-fi. Y'all can choose. Let me know in the chat which one of these you're feeling the most. There's always one that people seem to choose more than the others, but yeah, let us know. Okay, I see lo-fi in the chat. All right, you were first, so you win. And then I can change the time. So let's say I just want to leave like 1 more minute here, and then we'll click on play. And this music starts playing. I may have forgotten to share sound if you can't hear it, but there's some chill lo-fi vibes that are going on right now. And it's just nice to have something in the background where people don't have to feel like they need to talk. If they just want to kind of like work away at their ideas, then you can do that. Okay, Kate says we can hear. Sweet. So that's pretty cool, right? And then now let's say I'm going to jump into one that I've already kind of finished here. And here are all of the different post-its, right? So let's say that everybody's jumped in with all their different ideas. And now the hardest part is, oh man, there was somebody who wasn't at this brainstorm session. They just couldn't make it. But we want to catch them up on everything. We need to organize these ideas. So with Canva, you can select all of those sticky notes. And then up here in this toolbar on the left-hand side, we have sort. And we can sort by topic or color or name or by reactions if people are dropping fire emojis on these ideas. But I'm going to choose topic right here. And Canva's going to kind of do its thing, use a little bit of AI magic to sort these and put them in categories based on the topics and subjects that are covered. And so here you can see that now we have all of our ideas organized, coming of age themes, school and pageant events, medical and physical experiences, interpersonal conflicts. So now we've started to put a little bit of structure, right? We're moving from that chaos to clarity, and things are starting to take shape. But then beyond that, we can also turn this entire brainstorm session, everything that we've got, all of our stickies, everything that we've done down here, and we can turn this into a summary or an email that we want to send out to somebody. And so to do that, we're going to go up here on this gradient toolbar, and we're going to go to resize right here. And then if we scroll all the way down, you'll see transform into a doc. And I'm just going to choose summary. So this is going to give us a nice executive summary. It's going to take all of that information and put it together in a document for us. All right, now while this is doing its thing, let us know in the chat, how many were you paying attention when Kate said there were X amount of users using Canva per month? Who was paying attention? Let us know in the chat. Pop quiz. I love a good pop quiz. All right, 3 million, a little bit more than that. That's a good guess. But I believe Kate said, correct me if I'm wrong, 260 million.
Wow.
Booyah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. All right, so here you can see that Canva has done its thing, and it's given us plot overview, key themes and conflicts, character dynamics, climax, and resolution, all based on that one brainstorming session. And then in true Canva fashion, of course, you're able to customize all of these to be on brand. And so even this little header that it's given us, if I click right here, I can open up the Canva editor by just clicking on edit. And then we can start to kind of just change this to match our branding, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. So I'm going to go up here and go to the left-hand side, and let's just change our styles to match the branding.
You know, can I just say something?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you know what this makes me feel? My first response when I saw that is, oh my God, it makes me feel like I'm doing something, you know? And for a writer, I really mean it, because when you're building something from the ground up, I mean, you guys know the scariest thing is a white page. And I write by hand a little bit and write notes because that gives me a little, I feel a little more secure, but I'm building, I'm not like writers that are just like, whatever I wrote is great. I feel like I have to earn that feeling, and it takes
Mm,
me a while. And the feeling of support, you know, of just seeing like, oh, it made that sense out of what I did, makes me feel like it's viable in a way.
mm.
I don't know if I'm articulating that well, but it makes you feel like, oh yeah, I have a project. You want to come check out my Canvas stuff? Because yeah, it's real. It's not just in my head. So anyway, that's just so nice.
Yeah, 100%. And the cool thing is that you can keep on iterating on that, right? So
Yeah.
because it's right here in a document or in a brainstorm, in a whiteboard, you can just keep on changing that. So as your ideas continue to grow and evolve, then these documents can do that also. So that is whiteboards. We've talked a little bit about branding. You kind of saw me customize this header to match some of the branding that we've already created. But maybe you're in those early stages of creating the look and feel for the branding for whatever project that you've got going on. And Canva can help you out with that as well. So there's a whole bunch of templates that are called brand board templates. And so if you go to the homepage and you search for brand board, here you'll find a whole bunch of templates that you can use as inspiration. It's got color palettes. It already has font pairings that will work for you, and even some logo ideas. So of course these are all customizable, and so we could open up any one of these and hit customize this template and start to add in our branding or move things around, swap out some of the colors. And so here's an example of one of the templates that were available in Canva that I just took and customized it. I know that the fonts aren't exact. I did my best, Alexa, but turn
Oh, no,
this,
it's great. It's great.
customize this brand board to match the look and feel of the brand that we're going for. And with Canva's new brand system updates, you can take this document and upload that into the brand kit, and it will fill out the brand kit for you. And so let me go ahead and do that now. We're going to go to Canva's homepage here. And on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have brand over here. And so this is going to be where you can add in a brand kit, and it's going to save you a ton of time once we start customizing templates, which you'll see once we start customizing a series Bible in just a minute. So let's say that I want to add in a new brand kit. I'm going to click this little drop-down arrow right here on the left-hand side. And down here, we have create new brand kit. So I'm just going to name this one Monogamish Demo and click create. So once you set up a new brand kit, you have two options. If you already have a website, you could just drop in your website right here, and Canva's going to pull in maybe some photos or the logo that's on that website and bring that into your brand kit. Or you can upload those guidelines that we just created. And so I'll do that right now. I'm going to click on upload guidelines, and here's that PDF, and open that up. And Canva's going to do its thing. It's scanning for the brand information. Typically, when you're uploading a PDF, it's not going to pull out the logo, but it will pull out the colors. And if those fonts exist within Canva's font library, then it's going to pull those fonts in as well. And then you'll know what Canva did because right here we have this little purple button that says added, added. So those are the two sections that it pulled from that PDF. These down here, we would still have to go in and fill those out. But if I go to continue setup, you can see like, I know it's a small thing, but we didn't have to go in here and painstakingly add in all these different hex codes for this. Canva just pulled it right out of that document. And then it did the same thing for our fonts right here. It automatically added in our headline, our subheading, and the body text. So that only took a couple minutes, right? And now we're ready to jump into the Series Bible and start customizing. All right. So if y'all are ready for Series Bible, then drop a book emoji in the chat.
Drop a book. I love it.
So again, we're just going to go back to the canva.com/entertainment page and scroll down. And instead of whiteboards, this time we're going to grab our Series Bible right here. Oh yeah, I love the book emojis. Keep them coming. All right. And I'm going to use this template right here. And you see how it looks when we're starting, but we're going to customize this to match the look and feel of Monogamish. And so because you are an A+ student and you've already set up your brand kit, then over here on the left-hand side, if we go to design, you'll see that we have templates. So we could search for more templates from Canva's library, or we can go over here to styles. And so that's where we're going to find the brand fonts and our color palettes. So let me go to scroll view here so that you can get a look and feel for the entire Series Bible. So this is what it looks like when we're starting out. And then once I hit these brand fonts over here, I'll just click on it one time. It automatically changes the fonts, but I want it to do that for every single page because it didn't do that for every page in this design. But that's where this little sneaky button down here comes into play. This little purple button that says apply to all pages. If we click on that, now that font is going to carry over through every page of our design. So we don't have to go through and, do each page. And then we can do the same thing for our color palette. So right here, we'll just click on this one time. It automatically changes the colors. And because there's multiple colors in our palette, we may just need to shuffle through until you find like a color that you're really vibing with from your color palette. And then once you're happy with that, you could do the same thing by going down to apply to all pages, and it will carry that color throughout all of the other pages here. So already we're starting to customize this and make it feel more like Monogamish. And then of course we could do the same thing. Let's see, let's go to our brand over here on the left-hand side. I think I've loaded in a couple of photos here. So let's go to our photos tab and we'll just pull in one, just click and drag, and boom. We are off to the races, y'all. Off to the races. Now, I talked about Shot Deck just a little bit earlier, so maybe you're still trying to put some comps together. And if you want to pull in inspiration from other films, then you can do that by using the Shot Deck integration. So over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to Apps, and let's just search for Shot Deck here, and we'll open up Shot Deck. Now, I've already connected mine, so the first time you do this, it might say connect to your Shot Deck account, and then you'll enter in whatever your login information is. And then you can search for different movies. Let's say like, I don't know, Interstellar. So we've got some cool shots here. Or you can create your own decks. So if you've created decks in Shot Deck, that's also going to pull over here into this Canva integration. So when I go to decks, you can see that I did one for the Canva for Entertainment Professionals series that we did. And so I've got some set up here for lighting and tone, and I can just start to click and drag and pull those into the design. That's pretty amazing, y'all.
Very
Shot
amazing.
Deck for the win.
Yes.
All right, here's another one that a lot of people love. Maybe you already know and use this one. Let me go to, let's see, this page here. And how many of y'all have used background remover within Canva? A lifesaver, a true lifesaver. Hands up in the chat, y'all, because this one is also a game changer. So let's say that you want to add in like one of your characters. I'm just going to search for an image here. Let's see. Pockstock has some really good images. And let's say that this is going to be one of the characters, but we want to get rid of all this stuff in the background. We're going to go up here to this top toolbar, click on BG Remover, and just like that, Canva automatically removes the background. I find that once you use it the very first time for like a couple seconds, it's going to be a little bit fuzzy, but just give it a few seconds and then you'll see that it'll get nice and clear around the edges. That's a big one right there. Or this is another one of my favorite ones, which is Magic Eraser. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're searching the Elements tab over here. And let's just search for, I have an image in mind, selfie pyramid. And so let's say we've got this one right here. Maybe you went somewhere, took a photo, but like, oh my goodness, these people photobombed it and they're just totally ruining the vibe of this selfie that we want to post. So we're going to click on our image, go up here in our toolbar, and we're going to go over to edit. And this is where you can find the Magic Studio area. So there's, of course, background remover, which we already talked about, but a lot of other really cool features here to play with. But I'm looking for Magic Eraser. So I'm going to click on that and it'll give us this little brush. We can change the brush size if we want to, and then just paint over those people. Say, y'all gots to go. You got to go. You gots to go. And over here, these guys are trying to hide too. Okay, so we'll get rid of them. And then click on erase. Canva's going to do its thing. And boom, just like that, they're gone. I did this. If you've ever had a photo of yourself that you needed to post somewhere, I had a headshot with like a Nike swoosh or something, and I needed to get rid of that because the brand was a different brand than Nike. And so I just painted over that Nike swoosh and bye-bye, it was gone. So that's really helpful when you're starting to put comps together. If your image isn't exactly what you want it to be, then Canva can kind of help you get there. And this is another one that a lot of people love, which is maybe your image doesn't even exist at all. It's just not there. You can't find it anywhere that you're searching. Then you can generate those images. So maybe just things like a background, to try to set the tone and the scenes that you're creating. Then we're going to go over here to the app section. And instead of Shot Deck, we're going to go down to Magic Media. And so this is going to allow us to enter in a prompt and Canva will generate whatever image that we're looking for. So I already have a prompt here and I'm just going to copy this over and we'll paste it in. So I'm looking for just a sunny day, green meadow with a blanket, picnic spread, cityscape in the distance, and I want it to be photorealistic. So you could change the style. You can choose lots of different stuff right here, depending on what the image type is that you're going for. I usually honestly just leave that alone and let Canva do its thing. And then you can change the dimensions. So since we're in presentation and we're in landscape, I'm going to choose landscape here. All right. And then we'll click on generate images and boom, Canva's doing its thing. It will give us 4 different options to choose from. And depending on which one we like the most, that's the one we'll go with. So if you just click on it one time, it'll automatically be added into your design. So I'll give you a couple different options so you can see. All right. So again, this is just maybe concepts. Maybe this is not going to be the end result, but you're just trying to get those concepts together, give people a picture of the world that you're trying to build. And then one of the other things is animations, right? So we talked about how you can stand out when you are creating these presentations. I'm going to go back down here and do page thumbnails so we can see all these thumbnails down here at the bottom. And I'm going to go to my first slide here, and we're just going to add in a little bit of animation, a little bit of magic here so that when we go into present mode, we have a little bit of movement. And so I'm going to go up here to animate with this first slide selected. We'll click here. And there's this option that says magic animate, because maybe you don't really know all the different transitions and how to make text move. And so if you click magic animate, then Canva will do that for you. It will give you a recommended style, or you can check out some of the alternative styles by just hovering over it. Boom. Elegant. Energetic. So I'm just going to go with professional for now. And in between, I don't know if you noticed this, but in between each one of these, some of these transitions changed. So before these were like dissolving from one slide to another, and it chose a different transition. So if you want to change that, then you just select that, just click right there, and you can see that it added in a line wipe between one slide and the next.
Good Lord. Are you
Alexa.
kidding?
The hands up.
Ah,
That's
that
the
is
hallelujah
so
moment.
good.
Love it. That's such a great way to like talk, like what we were talking about, like make yourself stand out. Like when you
Yeah,
send this and you're
because
presenting it,
you're
it's simple.
they say women interrupt because we like to collaborate, but men experience it as us telling them that they're not able to do stuff.
Mm,
So I always, like we're questioning their abilities.
mm.
But anyway, I
I
just get
welcome
excited.
interruptions. I
I get
welcome
excited.
interruptions. Yeah.
What is so incredible about what you're doing is it adds a three-dimensionality to it because the way you're producing the pitch or whatever is gonna hold the tone in it, right?
Mhm.
Energetic, So if I'm doing the Texas tornado, I want it to feel fun and punchy
Mm.
and not overly dramatic. And so it's like a kind of visual music that you're adding. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so you could just like to kind of piggyback off of that, if you did have something that was a little bit more engaging, lots of energy, then you could also add in, let's say, let me just go back here. I didn't plan to do this, but let's just add in like a ball real quick. And let's choose this one. So I know this is not on brand, but if we wanted to add just a little bit of that, sense of chaos or movement, then you can add in animations to individual elements as well. So I'm going to, with this selected, go back up here to animate. And if you scroll all the way down, you have a bunch of these really cool animations here, but we can add in something like a wiggle. So that now
Oh
that
my
ball,
God.
there's like a little bit of movement.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I love it. I love the collaboration. But yeah, so when you're in present mode, it's just giving us a preview right now. But when we're in present mode, then that ball should just continue to loop and move around.
Love it. So fun.
Pretty
Awesome.
cool, right? Okay, so now that you're ready, you finished your presentation, it's time to present this. So to do that, you can present directly here from within Canva, or you could download this presentation if you want to send it, or you can share this as a public view link. So we're going to go up here to the top right, click on share, and let's say we want to download this. You can download it right here. And depending on where you're sending it, maybe you want to download this as a PowerPoint, but you could also download it as a PDF. Just keep in mind, if you download it as a PDF, all those cool animations that you have, they're not going to carry over because it's going to become a flattened document. But if you want to present this from Canva, then you just go up here to the present button, click on present here, and we're going to go full screen. And then we can just move through our slides by just clicking that right arrow and go through our entire presentation. Oh my goodness, my timer just went off, y'all. We just finished at like the 25-minute mark. That was like, I can't believe we did it in exactly 25. Yeah.
And I will also just shout out the public view link is so amazing. If you have time to check that out.
Yeah.
Because you can send this link, embed it in an email, so you don't have to worry about how many pages or if your document's too big, people can open it and then you can see if somebody's opened it. And there's nothing more that makes you have that validating feeling, like Alexa said, of like, oh, I created something, when you know that somebody's actually looked at your stuff. And if you decide, oh my gosh, I actually spell my name differently, or I've changed my name, you can change the text and it will update it for you and you don't have to resend it. That is my number one Canva favorite feature. If I had to pick, that's the one
It's so good. I use it all the time. And yeah, if you want to see those insights, so just to show you how to do that, we just went up here to share, public view link here, and then we clicked on create public view link. So this is going to be what you copy and paste and send that out. And it will update pretty much in real time. There might be like a 30-second delay. But yeah, just like Claire said, if you hit send and then you're like, oh snap, I have a huge typo, like there's a big error that I need to fix, you can fix that real quick. It updates in real time. You don't have to resend the link. There's no resending the PDF. you're good to go. Canva's got your back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Roger, for walking us through all that. And we do have a couple of minutes here for questions, and Ellie's here to answer questions on the Canva side, as well as we'll put the survey up for everyone to scan. Since we're kind of at the end here, we'd love for our wonderful audience members to scan this QR code and tell us about your experience. And I just want to make sure we get to this question because it's so specific to Alexa, from Beth Wickman. How has the pitch deck slash Bible process changed from the days of Friends and to what is expected now in 2026? And how much more of the world of tech has your pitch decks really changed to sell the show?
Well, that is such a great question. And I use uh, the Friends pitch as an example. Pitches, well, first they were 20 minutes, and then they turned into an hour, and now they're back to 20 minutes. But nobody did decks. When Friends was pitched, because I've seen the pitch, it was my two bosses with a 20-minute pitch, very, very, and no deck. And the show, they bought the show, wrote the pilot, and then they said, can you give us like, you don't know, just like one page of possible episodes? And so there was one that said, like, maybe Monica was fat in high school. And that was the whole episode. So the answer is, it is way more difficult now because what is expected of people is to break an entire season and sometimes two and three of a show just to sell it. So it is what it is, you know? And so, and I will also say that, you know, right now things are, I think they are coming back, but it's a tough time. And people are having to do, so there's something that we call a bake-off, because things are very much about intellectual property right now. It's harder to sell original ideas than it is to say, oh, I have a YA book and, you know, there's three of them and that'll make a great series. But you have to be able to basically, to get a job, to get the good IP, even the highest level writers have to do a bake-off. So that means you're competing against like 5 other writers to get the privilege to write a free show that you're developing for free, but you have to make a deck for that now. So, you know, it's an indication of how tough things are, but it's also an indication of how much we need decks and we need these tools to, you know, really make that difference. And I do think I think somebody who has their, you know, has their stuff together in a really solid way is going to have much more of a chance of getting that, you know, assignment.
Agreed. Yeah, I think this is also one of the reasons we wanted to do these workshops is to show that there are equitable tools, accessible ways to do this work that like I'm not a graphic designer, but I could be if I was called upon for an opportunity that is part of my goals. And that this has been a wonderful year of partnership with Canva, showing off all of these incredible tools, and still, you know, more opportunity to come check out these entertainment templates, as well as more workshops with Roger. And we hope to be back with them in 2026 doing more Vanguards. And thank you, Alexa, for being our season finale, our penultimates. You're such an incredible and generous person, and we thank you for sharing your expertise today. And we hope to see everyone soon in person, but back online is also great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
So
It's
much
been super
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.